Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time! Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game! Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni! Float game for the win! Ayler's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
Pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Yes, it is. Hello. How are you? Welcome in on this Thursday. Yesterday was a semi-nice day. Sun was out, and then today I woke up to Frosty the Snowman. Man, an inch of snow or so out there. Looking after all the snow was gone, which I know this will be gone in no time, but it's not the point. It's not the point. But welcome in. Glad to have you. Glad to be along. Glad to not be in the snow. Not be Frosty the Snowman. But it is frosty some places. Some gyms. Some locker rooms. Some places. Not today up in Indianapolis where the NFL Combine is well underway. Several Indiana players up at the dais today that will be speaking. Actually, D'Angelo Pons already this morning, and Lewis Moore, Riley Nowakowski. Now, tomorrow, Fernando Mendoza will speak. Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, Roman Hemby, Pat Coogan on Saturday. So lots to come up. Yesterday, did get to hear from Omar has had 17 conversations. Omar's going. I was reading something from one of the NFL's draft guys, and Omar Cooper was his 19th favorite player in the draft. Now, that doesn't mean 19th pick because the draft has to do, just like Fernando Mendoza will be the first quarterback taken off the board. Of course, he's going to be the first player off the board. But I don't know how many picks that will go after that before the next quarterback, Ty Simpson of Alabama, will be taken. Because it's what teams' needs are. And defensive edge rushers are a premium, man. They're at a premium. That's defensive guys. That's an offensive lineman. If you're in the market, if you need. Yeah, Cooper's going, man. I mean, he's going to get. He's a no-doubter. The one that I think is going to be well, I've already said this, would be a bargain to anybody is Kalon Black. But yesterday, Aiden Fisher hit the dais. Let's hear what the former Indiana linebacker had to say.
You were on for the game that we played, and then straight to training. So that's getting on the whiteboard, running, working on some sprint mechanics, doing it all now.
You mentioned in Atlanta, like, how you guys became kind of robots. How did you come off that high? Like, how long did it take?
We gave ourselves a week. We came back for the parade, and it was great to see all the fans in Indiana, especially in Bloomington, come around and be around the team after that. And I think the following Saturday or Sunday, we all were out of there.
Aiden, if the Raiders or any other team were to ask you what they're getting in Fernando Mendoza as a leader, what would you tell them?
As a leader, they're getting the best. Being around him the past year has elevated my game so much, made me a better person, better teammate, better leader as myself. He's somebody who just elevates everybody around them. He's an unbelievable, obviously a talent, but just an amazing human being to be around. I think people gravitate towards him. I think that's huge and speaks volume to who they're getting.
Any particular memories stand out just from the past?
There's a lot of memories that stand out with him. I think just seeing every fourth quarter game that, when we need him leading that offense. I think a lot of times, teams or quarterbacks can get a little shaky in the fourth quarter, especially, say the Penn State game. He ran out there with a smile on his face and all the confidence in the world. So that's the type of guy they're getting right there.
How would you describe your style of play? Analyze your game.
Yeah, it's
Hey, back there. Hope I didn't lose you guys for too long, but I hope you're doing well. Had a power surge here, but that was former Indiana linebacker Aiden Fisher as he is getting ready for to take his talents on to the NFL. He was asked a lot of questions there about Fernando Mendoza at the end. Of course, you cannot get away from Fernando. But it's going to be exciting to see how many of these guys get drafted. There were a record 9 Indiana players that were invited to the combine. And you don't have to be invited to the combine to get drafted. So guys like Kalon Black and many others could surprise you. So we shall see. We shall certainly see. But good luck. It's just, man, that's a lot of good players, but that's a lot of talent that you got to replace too. Think about that. So you got that going on, which is nice. And hey, it's a constant billboard for Indiana football now. And when you've got, what did I say, like 4 guys speaking today, that's usually more than the entire amount of Indiana guys that would be going to participate in the NFL Combine. Not a lot of guys from Indiana have been invited to that pretty frequently in the past. So good for them. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about this later on. Matt Taylor's going to join us from the Combine. We'll get his thoughts on what all's going on, how it's been so far. Just a lot of stuff up there, man. Radio Row is just packed with all so many different people. Then you've got all the other things going on the other side there at the convention center. And then you have all of the actual drills and whatnot going on with the players that they're into. So lots happening. Then Indiana basketball holding on for its life right now. It's NCAA tournament life, I guess I should say. Their hopes are not completely dashed, but it just took a serious blow with that loss to Northwestern. I think that they can make it up, but When I say I think that they can make it up, they have the opportunity to make it up is what I should be more specific. They have the opportunity. Can they do it? Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. I'm not sure if they just have the ability so far to do that this year. I'll try to pull that up as well. You could see on all of their faces, they were pissed off. Darren was not happy. The players were not happy. You could tell. Someone asked, and I'll get this for later in the show, but Tucker DeVries a question, and it took him at least 10 seconds to start his answer, I think. So, yeah, you could just see it seething and sitting in there. They're not happy, but they shouldn't be happy. More coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle with you as always, back with more right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you along. Looking forward to talking to our friends today. Coach Griff, hopefully, is in the studio there. I can't see you, Coach, if you're there. I'm not sure if you could just add yourself. But lots going on with Indiana football. Let me try to get that altered and see if I can find my man over here. But Indiana making their presence known up in Indianapolis at this year's draft. And who's going to actually get drafted? Get drafted where and when? We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Other than Fernando Mendoza, who's going to be the next highest pick? I think it's going to be Omar Cooper. I really do. He is just, he's got skills, man. He is talented in a lot of ways in football, but more than that, he just has instincts. He's an athlete. I mean, the dude is an athlete. Played basketball, of course. We all know that. Big time basketball player. But those intangibles, the catch that he made at Penn State really showed his football intelligence, his acumen, his awareness just so much that are all positive. I mean, he is really liked by these draft picks. Coach, I was just talking about the upcoming draft, and after Fernando, who's going to be the next Indiana guy coming off the board? And I think it's going to be Omar Cooper.
Yeah, he's got a great chance. I mean, he's he's a guy that's impressed the scouts. I think his tape has really shown what he can do. So I do think that he's pretty high on some people's boards as a potential take there, at least in the maybe late first or second round, maybe on him. From whatever I'm reading, it seems that they're really high on.
I think he's high on a lot of people's boards. I was just talking. He has a lot of intangibles. I mean, obviously he can catch the ball. But he's strong for a receiver coming out of college. Great body, great strength. Someone mentioned the yards after the catch. Well, yeah, that all comes because of this. But he's got great awareness, great football acumen. His awareness, he's just got a lot that goes on besides raw, just raw being a talent.
Yeah, he's a pretty natural athlete, in my opinion. A situation with him that he's really moved up the boards in a lot of draft rooms because of what he's done over the last 2 years, and it'll be interesting to see how he all performs there in the combine and see how he solidifies, maybe, like I said, being a second rounder or earlier on draft day.
Yeah, and I played a little bit of Aiden Fisher speaking with the media yesterday, and today or earlier today, you had D'Angelo Pons, Lewis Moore, and I'm missing somebody that spoke to the media this morning, but it's a lot of names, man. We're not used to this for Indiana, and I know that we've been saying that for a while, but it continues to be something new, Coach, with this program.
Yeah,
that is still going through this great growth within the program, but there continues to be new firsts. We think that they're over because, okay, the season's finally over. They went undefeated. They won the Natty. They won every freaking award that they give away. Now we're at the draft. We've got that going, but well, yeah. Now we're at the draft. Indiana's going to have their first and only number one draft pick taken, which is exciting.
Yeah,
for the program, but it's funny. They're going to put three guys in a row. Kurt Cignetti's going to put three straight. Well, he'll probably put more than that, but I guarantee you. You think Josh Hoover's not going to the league? You're out of your mind. The dude's already thrown for 9,600 yards. He's going. He's strong. That's another dude. Look at his arms. This dude is NFL style body. When I look at the NFL, the prototypical NFL quarterback to me today is Trevor Lawrence. This dude is like a cyborg, man. Whatever he is, 6 foot, whatever, 3 to 5, I don't know. But it's not just that. He's got a body on him. He's a solid man. You could tell he can take a hit, maybe give one. But you quarterback, you think is I don't want to say dainty, but you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Josh Hoover he's got the goods. I mean, he's got the mind. I can tell he's a smart athlete. I had him on the show way back when he was a commit, and it was during COVID, and he was teaching himself how to play golf. the first time he ever played, he shot an 85. That's an athlete, man.
Yeah.
That's an athlete. Chris asking, thank you, sir. Who do we think the Colts are going to pick with their first pick in the second round? He says he thinks it has to be an edge rusher or linebacker. I talked about earlier. That's probably the position that's at the biggest premium in the draft. Edge rushers, coach. They're game changers. They're just game changers. Now, is Aiden Fisher somebody? Because a lot of times we see guys when you go, just like you go to high school to college, position change. College to the pros, not as much, but this is a natural position change. I could see Aiden Fisher becoming an edge rusher because of his athletic ability. And he's not quite the size of an NFL linebacker yet, but boy, he'd be a hell of an edge rusher.
Yeah, I think what you're going to get with Aiden is a smart football player. So,
well, yeah, there's everybody, they call him the computer coach.
Yeah, don't discount that aspect of things either. When it comes to his just overall knowledge of the game and a smart player, and that's what a guy like he has had to. That's how he survived as a linebacker, going from a guy that was, I guess you call him a no star, to what he is today, is because of his smarts. And, I think that's what you're going to get with
no
Aiden.
Star to a superstar.
Yeah. He really has been. And, I know that Indiana's going to, they're going to miss these guys in a roundabout way, these guys that have been here for 2 years, but the defense is really going to be missed Aiden Fisher for a multitude of reasons, and some of them are not replaceable. So you'll see how valuable he was to Coach Haynes on that defense because of, like you just said, basically a coach on the field, in that respect. And that's what you need from a linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see where he goes in the draft. I mean, he's one of those man-made players. He's gotten everything because he's earned it and he's worked at it. So I think a lot to be said about his draft stock will be based upon where he came from, what he made himself into. And you can never discount that type of thing in a draft room because those are the unseen tangibles that people look for.
Yeah, Brian asking, how far will Caden Curry drop? Did I miss something? Did he run a slow 40? Did he
don't know.
I don't know why he would drop. So if you have a reason why that is, and we missed that, throw up there in the comments. But it's a lot of replacement that has to happen. But I think we've seen him do that 2 years in a row. The defensive line was my biggest question mark last season. And it might have been, I'm not going to say it was the best unit because all the damn units were so good, but it took a backseat to no one. Right. And they made some changes as far as personnel positioning, but Brian, Haynes kind of knows what he's doing, I guess. He's okay. He's doing an okay job. I'm being facetious, people. I hope you know that. But he's just a master. I think people want to come to play for him. He's still a young coach with this young fire. He's got that passion. Players, I think they just love playing for guys like that.
Oh yeah.
All of the entire IU staff it's a pretty good one.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think the talent they have in the coaching ranks on the defensive side of the football is A to Z. And I think Bryant relies heavily on all their input. It's definitely not a one-man show because I think he's a guy that values input and suggestion. And when you get talented people around another talented person, They have a tendency to rise above all expectations, and it's not too hard to see why kids love to play for guys like Brian Haynes or Shanahan. In some cases, Coach Sig. They just love the way their energy is and their relatability to 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And now you're going to see more and more kids look at them because of, like we were talking earlier, you got 9 guys that are potentially going to get drafted. And one of the biggest things kids today want to know is how many guys you put in the league. And that's what opens the door for, opportunities at the true legit 5-star kids, is how many guys you've put in the league.
Absolutely. That's been the mantra for these big time programs. Still is.
Yeah.
As you'll see, who puts the most players in, but starting to change a little bit. Brendan Sorsby, the former Indiana quarterback that went to Cincinnati, had a ton of success, got him a nice NIL package, gave him a 2-year deal, but he had a good season and thought he could do better, which he could by going to Texas Tech. I mean, hell, they've got the money, baby. And he reportedly signed a high-end deal, but he had a buyout. See, he had a 2-year agreement, and he was supposed to pay $1 million exit fee when he transferred within 30 days. Refused to do that, even though he's got a deal that's probably worth 3 times what he had. So Cincinnati's suing him, as they should. And not only that, they should not only get the $1 million, it should be freaking doubled. If I'm a judge, I'm doubling it punitively. You jackasses, you're getting what people, athletes ever got to get, and you're abusing it in every way. You greedy little SOBs. I'm not saying don't get as much as you can get. That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the people who have no regard for agreements that they make and sign.
Yeah.
It's just, they have to be shown now you can't do this.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a negotiation of trying to lower that buyout, and Cincinnati said no. And
I bet you not, because I think he sounded like a $5 million deal. They were like, you can give us $1 million.
Right. But yeah, it's kind of mind-boggling too that these kids or these agents don't understand that if you sign an agreement with somebody, that is a binding contract. And if there's $1 million buyout in that contract, you got to pay the $1 million. I mean, it's
clear. It's
clear as day,
right
right?
In here, man.
Right.
Let's see where he also agreed that if he left the university before that time, the 2-year time, he would pay the university a specific amount for the substantial harm that his breach would cause. Cincinnati Athletics intends to enforce the contractual commitment as stewards of the university resources. Yeah, whatever. Yes, I'm behind it. I think, like I said, I'm not only behind it, double it, damn it. As a matter of fact, I'd go higher than that. I'd say what's the amount of what you signed? You get to keep 100,000. You get to keep 100,000. That's it. That would be fantastic. You think that wouldn't send a message? Too sweet.
Yeah, again.
Hey, we got this going on everywhere, man.
Oh yeah,
NASCAR. Chris Gabehart, who used to be a crew chief for Denny Hamlin, but he worked for Joe Gibbs Racing for a long time. He became their director of competition, which means he's up there high. Mm-hmm. He knows everything, can access everything. Well, he went to Joe Gibbs former coach of the Washington Redskins, Super Bowl, 2-time Super Bowl winner, and said, he wasn't happy. He wanted complete control over things. And he said, no. And then after that, he came back, said he's not happy. He's thinking about leaving. Well, he had been planning this all along. He'd been talking to this other team, NASCAR team. And after he left, they did a forensic analysis of his computer and found that he had set up certain files and this, that, and the other thing. So they're suing him for $8 million for taking his knowledge that they gave him and go elsewhere. So, but yeah, it's going on all over, man. What's up next for you?
Tonight, been doing the
tonight
7:30.
It's gonna be all right.
The transfer portal players that have Indiana signed this year, going player by player, talking about each of them. But tonight I'm going to jump off because I got my blood pressure up with all the clickbait titles and things that you've seen about Indiana in jeopardy of having their national championship vacated because the
that's
NC.
A bunch of crap, dude.
Yeah, we're going to go through it. I'm going to separate fact from fiction and talk about what the NCAA is trying to do and what the NCAA can't.
Although there's truth to what is said, there is, first of all, the NCAA has nothing to do with the CFP championship.
Correct.
Bam, end of story right there. So,
yeah.
But
correct.
yeah, make sure you tune in to Hoosier Tailgate. You can catch it at thehoosier.com, of course.
Absolutely.
Coach Griff. Appreciate you, sir.
Appreciate you. Have a good one.
Always. You as well. Hey, we've got more coming up. Glad that you're with us. Up next, the wandering locomotive himself, Dustin Schutte. Right after we take a pause for the cause.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NICOsports.com.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
This is not Nam. This is bowling. There are rules.
Welcome aboard, Dustin Schutte. You know there are rules.
Crazy!
This is not numb.
the only one around.
I've been
What an
playing with
introduction.
I'm telling you, man. What a great one. How's Dustin Schutte doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. How are you? What I'm noticing is now people listening on the radio won't be able to tell this, but I should be in hotel rooms doing this more often because the picture on my end is fantastic. It's probably the best I've ever looked in my life.
Well, maybe it must be the lighting. You know how good lighting.
There is a
it doesn't
lamp right
matter for
here.
me.
There is a lamp right here that's providing this bright, shiny face to all of the viewers on a
Bright,
Thursday
shiny people. Isn't that a song? I believe that it is, but REM. It's the later throes of the basketball season. Purdue playing back to playing well. They had dropped in where they weren't playing good basketball. They are back off the schneid and beat the crap out of Indiana in West Lafayette, which getting the win there, I expected them to, but it was the way they won, dominant in every fashion, and that part of that, the credit goes to Purdue, and part of the blame goes to Indiana for not being able to defend. They let Trey Kaufman-Renn just go wild when they completely controlled him before, and you can't let a guy like that go wild. And that to me just he's only going to be effective in certain games. But the other thing was Braden Smith and Fletcher Loyer really had their type of games as well. It was lights out.
Well, those three guys accounted for 37 of the 46 points by halftime. I think 53 of 93. But Trey Kaufman-Renn, the thing was he had, I think, 23 points in the first meeting down at Assembly Hall, but the difference was nobody else got involved. None of Purdue's I think Fletcher ended the game with 8 points. Braden had some struggles throughout that game. So it was really Trey Kaufman-Renn trying to carry the load, and he can do that in some games, but he's not able to, carry that load against, some of the Big Ten's better teams, and especially when Purdue's not playing well. And I'm going to ask, I don't know if, Jim, you're the right person to ask, if some of the loyal listeners are the right people to ask.
Yes, you can go right down this aisle. You turn left, you'll see the double doors, and go ahead.
And head out. Indiana shot 53% in that game, had 11 turnovers, and lost by 29 points. I don't know if I've ever seen. Now I know Purdue had a lot of offensive rebounds. I think they out-rebounded them by, it was 30 to 15 on the glass.
I was going to say I can send you to two stats. I've talked about this so much on the show when you haven't been with us, but that I can almost every game I can look at two stat boxes right away, instantly, and offensive rebounding, and then second chance points is the first place I go, and virtually every game, Indiana gives up a minimum of 10 points, second chance points, minimum. It was like 13-1, I think, against Purdue. But So there's 12 points right there. That's just 12 points you gave. And then go to the free throws. I think Purdue doubled up Indiana at the free throw line, and that's not because the officiating sucked either. It's just they don't get to the line nearly enough like they did earlier in the season. Earlier in the season, that was a big part of their weapon, was getting to the free throw line, because they're a very good free throw shooting team. But so I don't understand why. Is it just that people have figured Indiana out, which there's not a lot to figure out since they have zero presence in the paint? And let's see, where might the ball be going first? Where might the ball be going second? Oh yeah, Lamar Wilkerson. So yeah.
And then you throw in Tucker DeVries there as your third option.
Yeah,
they're not a difficult team to figure out. To me, like I understand the difference in that game. Purdue was able to get to the foul line. I think I don't know if they doubled them up. I don't remember the stat off the top of my head, but Purdue made more free throws than Indiana attempted, I believe.
Yes.
And so
yes, they did.
I understand those were the differences, but to my point, like I don't know if I've ever seen an offensive performance where an opponent shoots that well from the floor. And I think they attempted 5 fewer shots, I think is all, and had only 11 turnovers and got beat by 29. Like you could understand a 12 to 15 point loss, but
Purdue also
that was crazy.
Purdue almost did everything right as well.
Yeah, correct. Offensively,
especially. There were no deficiencies. And Indiana didn't have much help but beyond that, Purdue is playing. That just means Purdue is solidifying and maybe raising their. I see them ending up being a 3 seed. Is where I think
they're going.
Yeah, because there's too much in front of them. You've got Michigan, who is going to stay a 1 seed no matter what. Illinois, hey, they can fight. They're good enough to be a 1 seed, but I don't think there's enough room at the end. There are too damn many teams. You're not going to move Duke out. You're not going to move Michigan out. Houston's had a rough way to go here of late, and they're susceptible. Right. I'll get that. But, and then who am I missing? Kansas is coming on. But Arizona is pretty solidly entrenched there. So that 4th number 1 seed is maybe it's available, but worst case, that gives the Big Ten probably the number 1, 2 seed. Will Michigan or Nebraska, where are they going to end up? 2, 3, 4?
Yeah.
I mean, Big Ten's going to have a team on each line there, probably.
Yeah, I think Purdue right now is they're, I believe, around the 6 or 7 line. So that would mean that they are firmly in that number 2 spot at the moment. If they beat Michigan State tonight, and assuming I think if they split between Michigan State and Wisconsin and win against Ohio State and Northwestern, I feel confident that they're probably going to get a 2 seed, 3 seed at the worst. You would need a lot to go right in order to get a 1 seed. I feel pretty confident that they'll end up on that 2 line. But we'll see. I mean, the one team I think that's been a little bit disappointing here down the stretch has been Illinois. They're a team that have excellent size. They rebound the ball well. They've got good offensive players all over the court. And they just seem to lose games that they shouldn't lose. And that seems to be the case for the Illini every year. You could probably make that same case for Purdue this season, like losing on the road to UCLA, losing on the road to Indiana. They've dropped some games that they shouldn't have. But you look at Illinois.
They don't have a bad loss. They didn't lose to Northwestern at home.
Well, true. Yeah, exactly. But there's still time. I mean, they have to go on the road and play at Ohio State.
There's still time. I love the confidence. Oh, there's still time. So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm just saying it's college basketball. It's the Big Ten. It's weird. Purdue almost lost to Oregon on its home floor. Oregon's not good. So, there's
Oregon really sucks.
Yeah, but and Penn State was a bad final play away from beating Michigan on their home in Happy Valley. So this is a weird situation. Purdue's got to take care of business. If they win 3 of their last 4 games, I feel confident that they're going to be on that 2 line and put themselves in a good position. The one thing that I think I think the one team you want to avoid is Michigan. If you can avoid them and not be in their bracket, then I think that that's a positive for Purdue. The other thing, too, is that you're obviously also playing, and nobody cares as much, but the Big Ten tournament seeding, Purdue's still in line to get the overall number 2 seed in that. Michigan's essentially locked up that number 1 seed. But, I mean, it's going to be interesting. I felt pretty confident about Indiana's chances of getting into the NCAA tournament.
Who didn't? They were in.
Tuesday night?
Yeah, and I have had people saying, see, you said they were in. They were in.
Yeah.
It's like, they were in when I said it. That's just like saying, well, you said it was an 8.5 point spread. It was on Tuesday. This is freaking Thursday. Guess
yeah,
what?
still got to
Stuff changes, man.
Stuff does change, and they were in because Indiana really. I mean, they
can
had
get back in, Dustin. They can get in. They have the opportunity. It's on them. They've got a home game against Michigan State. Pull your big boy pants up, tie them tight, get those shoelaces in there, get your head out of your aspirin bottle, and play better basketball. The thing about this team, and I've said this, I've not harped on them at all this year, and I've said I'm gonna, they get this season. I'm not gonna not criticize here at the end, especially if they don't make the tournament, because that's crap. That's losing at Minnesota. That's not having the moxie and the basketball. What's the word I'm looking for? They are not a disciplined team, I guess you'd say. They play hard, but they're not disciplined offensively. As a matter of fact, I think they're very undisciplined offensively. They've never met a three-point shot they don't like, which I don't mind the three-point shots going up with great volume, but you can't be sideways trying to shoot the ball. You know, hey, get your body under you, get your feet set, take good shots. Hey, if it's you and 5 freaking guys from the other team, maybe consider waiting on the cavalry to come in. Rebounds, they can be beneficial sometimes. So and the rebounding issue, if I was a fan and looking at it, I'd be aggravated because that's an effort thing. That's effort and just that's just there's a lot to it. So
but the one thing too with talent. Well, the one thing with Indiana too on that is they put themselves in a, I don't know if favorable position is the right word, but when you're a team that's undersized, shooting the 3 ball actually probably gives you a higher percentage to rebound the basketball because it creates those long shots that you can get yourself in position. That's a reason why they were so close to Purdue on the glass. They still lost by 5, but it wasn't a huge difference in the game in terms of, allowing Purdue to run away with it the first time they were at Assembly Hall. Purdue has struggled with that, and Purdue's got pretty good size on them. So, if you're shooting a bunch of shots at the rim or, those mid-range shots where you allow a guy, comes off the rim softly and, comes straight down essentially, then you give the defensive team.
Rim softly.
Just going to keep creating songs, aren't you?
No, it's killing me. That's killing me. So.
Oh, killing me softly.
Missing me softly.
But it's almost like this is, I don't know, this is like, systemic is not the right word, but like, it always seems
systemic
like.
Systemic is a great word. It's a great word. It is systemic because everything about this is the system.
Well, but
which again,
the problem to me is
not criticizing Darren DeVries. I'm not criticizing their offense. I am criticizing missing aspects of the offense. You know what? Purdue, I look at Purdue. Purdue is a team very, very similar to Indiana, except that the players are better. They get more from them, more consistently.
These are 2 things I've seen. I don't mean to cut you off, but one thing is that, and I don't understand because they have had a problem with, and it hasn't mattered the coach, it almost hasn't mattered the roster, but consistently they are a team that seems like when they get hit in the mouth, it's almost like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to respond. They were up 16 points against Nebraska. What were they up in the second half to Northwestern? 13? Like, those are 2 games you should win on your home court. And I've seen Purdue lose some of those games, and sometimes it happens. That's college basketball. But especially the Northwestern game, you've got to figure out a way to win that. So I don't know what it is that they just seem to like get the deer in headlights. Like, we can't believe that this is happening to us. The other thing is that
I agree with you, but that's where the lack of discipline comes in because they don't honor what they've done, acknowledge it, and then address, hey, all right, now how do we handle it here? Because that's where you take an alternate measure. Now you change things. That does 2 things. You're making them come to you. You're dictating the pace of whatever of the game, but you're also dictating it with a direct eye on closing that game out.
Yeah.
Up 16 against Nebraska. How many just collapses have we seen? They were up double digits in the last game against Northwestern. They were up 10 with less than 2 minutes to go at UCLA. They win that game, but they let it get to overtime. So
Right.
that's been a constant theme. And you're right. Now that aspect of it transcends the Mike Woodson and Darren DeVries. They both doing it, but I think that's just coincidence.
Well, I mean, yeah, it has to be because they've how many times have they turned over an entirely new roster? They've had 3 coaches in that span. So it's an issue for each individual team, but it's weird that it keeps happening. Like, I don't know what the situation is where that continues to happen. Now, the other part of this too is Indiana has had no cohesiveness for, I don't know, a decade. Like the Trace Jackson Davis team of what was that, 22, 23 was probably the only team that really had any sort of team chemistry.
By chemistry, you mean come down the floor, get the ball in the middle, and hope that they score. Is that the kind? Is that because?
Well, I'm not saying it was great.
Dustin Schutte with this. It's the exact opposite of what they have now. Come down floor, shoot a 3, and then hopefully it goes in. Right. If not, head down to the other end because you're not getting the rebound.
But they've had to piecemeal all these teams together, and so you don't have the right. Like they don't have a guy that can go up and just get you 10 rebounds. They don't have that guy. They don't have a guy that just
why? But why? That's where my questions are.
Because Mike Woodson. Now this is not Mike. This team is not Mike Woodson's fault. What I'm about to say is, but when Mike Woodson was in charge, what did he do from the portal? He just got the best players. Didn't matter if they fit. Just we're going to assemble a team and hope it works out. And we're going to, that doesn't always work out. You have to have the right pieces. I think Darren DeVries actually has better. Not in terms of overall talent. I think he has better pieces that fit together.
Yes,
but
he has a better
also,
team.
Yes, but they're also new that they just don't have time to gel. And you can look at other places that have been able to assemble.
They're missing a couple of pieces, Dustin.
They are. They don't have a rebounder.
Hey, let's talk more about this and the fact that, and I know that you don't care about that, but Indiana just hired Ryan Carr from the Pacers as their GM. So that tells me that Darren wants to have a GM, and of course he'll be heavily involved in that, but he wants to be more into the coaching aspect of it. I would just guess, but because of Ryan Carr's success on what he's doing, and Indiana has as good of a staff right now as maybe they've ever had. I'm not talking about the head coach with Bob Knight, but I'm talking about the assistants.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to compare anybody to Bob Knight. Gee whiz. When I say staff, I'm talking about the assistants.
Come on.
Come on,
Jim. Go bold.
Think about who they have right now, though. Drew Adams, he's very, very successful. He's got grassroots. Kenny Johnson, very, very well known throughout the coaching industry, college basketball industry. Rod Clark, who came in from Tennessee. Man, they have got a tremendous staff. I think that they got too late of a run at it last year to get the players they probably could have gotten. And it looked more like it was, I don't want to say more important, but Darren DeVries getting that staff put together. And he may be, and that may be the right move to have made because thinking about the future. All right. And after they tried to get the team put together and it's all right, this is not going to be quite as good as we had hoped, but it's right there. If they make the tournament, they fly, they float through. But hey, let's take a quick break. Dustin Schutte from Boilers on SI. If you're a Boiler fan, you should be following him. Back with more right after these beautiful but unrelenting messages.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NicoSports.com. That's NicoSports.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Oh yeah, welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Glad to have you with me, Jim Coyle. Dustin Schutte from Boilers on SI as Purdue has righted the ship. They're going to be, I think they're going to end up heading in to be the 3 seed, like I said earlier. But where is let me get over. I like to look over here at the standings. Michigan, of course, undoubtedly at the top right now. Clear lead. They've got a 3-game lead.
Yeah, they've already locked up at least a share.
Here's what's wild. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 Big Ten teams at 13-4 or 12-4.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a normal record. That's probably about an average record to win the Big Ten.
I was going to say, if you didn't have Michigan this year, this would be an amazing race for the Big Ten title.
Oh my God!
Because 16-4 would certainly win the Big Ten in most years.
That's about it. That's like the average.
Mm-hmm. If you can get through with 3 or 4 losses, you put yourself in a good spot. It's just that Michigan is a super team this year.
Michigan.
Although I think
smile into Michigan.
Meat chicken. Although I will say, I think Yaxel Lendeborg is seems to be a pretty immature 23-year-old. I was not impressed with that post-game interview he had regarding defending Boozer after that Duke Michigan game.
I didn't see what he said.
He was asked a pretty simple question about what's it like defending Boozer, and he couldn't muster any words, just started laughing. I don't know, man. That's not that it matters at the college level, but that would be a red flag to me if I'm an NBA general manager. But
well,
as you mentioned,
Michigan gets to finish the season strong. Everybody does. They have 3 games remaining, but the first one or next one up tomorrow night. Wow, a Friday. This is another great Friday night battle at Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Man, that could tighten the race up a bit as they get closer, but it's too late. But they also they have to go to Iowa, which I don't think that would be a problem, just because I don't even know that Iowa's done pretty well this year. That style is not going to slow Michigan down that much. It amazes me how Iowa can dictate the terms of the game against virtually anybody. 752, man. But we knew that going in. But whatever works. The Wolverines, though, they finished the season at home against Michigan State.
Yeah.
Tom Izzo, Jeremy Fears, he'll be tripping. I wonder if he trips. Hey, I wonder if they have a prop bet if Jeremy Fears gets a technical foul in that game.
It's kind of Grayson Allen-esque, the situation.
I called him that earlier on. I said, it's Grayson.
Yeah. I mean, he's kind of earned that a little bit here with his play the last couple, well, I guess really all season long, but especially in Big Ten play.
And here's another thing. The automatic bid, and this goes for virtually most conferences, for the Big Ten, goes to the winner of the Big Ten tournament. I think that is stupid.
I agree.
I think if you win the Big Ten tournament, you're going to be good enough to get in. But there's no way on earth that, which they're not going to not get in. But after you go through a 20-game Big Ten, getting your head beat in schedule, you could go 19-1, but have no guarantee for the NCAA tournament.
I know.
Yes.
I know. I wish that they would go back to the old, or, the regular season champion is really the team that deserves the bid. But when you're in the Big Ten, it really doesn't matter. If you win the Big Ten regular season, you're getting in. I think it's dumb for the smaller conferences. Like, if I'm Indiana State, I'm just throwing out examples because I don't know who's good at those. But if I'm St. Louis is a good example, or Miami of Ohio maybe is an even better example. If they go through the season and they don't lose a game and they lose in the conference tournament and they don't get in, how dumb. Same thing with St. Louis. I think they're ranked, but they just got beat by Dayton.
Now, see, last year, why no one hired him, I know St. Louis did. I'm talking about better than St. Louis. He was a hot coach. What he did at Indiana State, I'm like, that's a guy you get now. You don't wait till he goes and gets hot again, because if you could get him then, you get him then.
Well, he's going to be he's going to be a hot market item again this year. So some teams are going to get another chance at him.
I was curious because I was looking at the Big Ten standings, and of course, at the bottom of not the Big Ten, but at the bottom of the Big Ten's NCAA, what I'm going to call the NCAA standing, those last 3 teams that are fighting to get in, of course, Indiana, Ohio State, and USC. Already played USC, lost a close game, should have won that game. But regardless of that, I was curious as to the net rankings. Indiana and Ohio State, both 17 and 11 right now. And they're 38th and 39th in the net rankings. Now, where is, I wonder where there's Southern California. They're 62nd. So they're out. They're 7 and 10 in the Big Ten Conference. I think they're out. for certain. And I have always thought the Big Ten was going to get 10 teams in, Dustin, and if you take USC out of the picture, that leaves 10 teams, Indiana included. But I'm wondering if the winner of the Indiana-Ohio State game gets in and the loser does not get in, because those two teams play each other in the last game of the season in Columbus. Now, if Indiana loses to Michigan State, there's no doubt that's not going to be they would absolutely have to do that. Purdue, Illinois, Michigan,
well,
all in the top 7 of the net rankings.
Yeah. The thing you've got to remember too, if you're in the Minnesota game now is also huge. That's a game you already lost. But
Minnesota has 3 freaking quad 1 wins.
Minnesota is sneaky. They're not a great team, but they can get you on any given night.
They're a dangerous team in the Big Ten tournament. They're a team you don't want to play in the Big Ten tournament, probably.
Exactly. I mean, I didn't watch the game. Let's see. I'm going to look at the box score here. That's not the best way. Yeah, they looked like they were pretty competitive against Michigan. In Chrysler at Chrysler Center. It used to be Chrysler Arena, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, okay, good. I'm not the only one.
Why would they change this?
I don't know.
I'm sure that they added some classrooms or something, and somebody's name got put on it.
You've been there. You've been to Chrysler Center, haven't you?
Sweetest shooting place. When I was working for CBS Sports long time ago, and we were done doing stuff. So there was a ball and I was just out there shooting. It was I will never forget it, because it just seemed like you could shoot it softer because it was so dark. Their seats are maize blue. So everything is so dark, and it's like it just sunk in. It was a weird perception thing.
Well, not only I've never been on the floor there, but I was there for a game, 10 years now, maybe 12 years ago. It's like a movie theater. It's like watching a game in a movie theater. I don't know. I mean, that place I'm sure gets loud, but it just doesn't give the same vibes as like a Assembly Hall, Mackey Arena, Breslin Center. It just feels like you're sitting in there, like you're there to be entertained and not cheer. I don't know if I can explain it. Just doesn't make sense to me, but whatever. It was one of the more unimpressive Big Ten venues, in my opinion. Just my opinion.
Really?
I was not impressed with the Chrysler Center. No.
Have you been to the Ryan Center in Chicago? Or whatever the hell they call it, Welsh Ryan Arena?
No, but that's
okay. It's okay, but it's a square box.
Yeah. But that's what you expect at Northwestern. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you expect something more intimidating at a place like Michigan. I was not impressed.
I'll tell you what. I think that, and I'm not talking about the toughest place to play or whatever. I like the setup for Illinois, for Purdue. They're both kind of similar, although Illinois is wild. If you're coming upon the, it used to be there, it's the State Farm Center now. They were smart enough to stop calling it Assembly Hall, and their football stadium is also Memorial Stadium.
Yeah.
Ironic.
It's hilarious.
But if you're coming upon the State Farm Center at night, it looks like a freaking spaceship, man.
Yeah.
Has landed. But Purdue has if Indiana could replicate that with about 4,000 more seats, that would be perfect. I love this. The sight line. If you've never been there, then you don't know. The sight lines are perfect. There's not a bad seat. It gets loud because the sound's coming from all directions, but it's not louder than Assembly Hall. But Assembly Hall is not louder than anybody when it's not at its zenith. And Indiana is not at its zenith right now.
look, I've sat in those balcony seats at Assembly Hall. I would not pay $1 to sit up there. Those seats
You
are
couldn't pay me $100. Well, you could pay me for not very long, but I remember having to sit up there as a student, and I'm like, the game was a rumor.
Yeah.
We didn't have social media then to see what was going on with the game. As a kid, yeah, but those seats absolutely suck.
Yeah, they do.
About that.
Yeah,
I don't. Seats I've ever sat in sports.
I don't blame anybody for not wanting to sit up there, especially when the product isn't as good as it was in the past. So, and people will tell you the true Indiana fans, as much as I hate Purdue, if they've been to Mackey Arena, they will tell you that it is a better game experience at Assembly. Now, it probably depends. If you sit in the lower section of Assembly Hall, I'm sure you have a great experience. I've been in the lower bowl a couple times, but even the media seats up there are pretty far off the court.
Well, that's not where the media seats used to be. That I don't know what year that changed, but imagine this. There was a day, because I sat there, where the media seating was on the floor, dead middle, across from the benches where the center deal is. There were just seats that went in each direction. They could have kept those and then put other seats there, but those are money seats now, baby. Money
for
seats.
Sure. And
but here's the thing. At Mackey, they moved the media is 2/3 of the way up, which is fine at Mackey. It's
right.
It's like being maybe halfway up at Assembly Hall, which would be fine, but you're not. Fortunately, I don't have to sit up there, but for those that do.
Well, who did you pay off, Jim?
Hey, baby, I paid my dues, bro.
I remember people. I've worked with people that were at
sit up there, but what we're talking about is the media. There's 4 rows up there at the very top of the main level, and people say, "Oh, they should." No, we're there to cover the game. The actual media. Now there are some that, I think I agree, but for those that are actually there to cover the game and because it is so different. If you've ever sat close to an event, it is way different. The perception of it is different. What's going on you take in is different.
I'm just saying I don't mind it as a media member because I get in there for free. So I'm not complaining. I'm just saying when you get up. No. I know I'm not saying you are, but I'm just saying when you get up to a certain point, at what point are you getting your money's worth is my point for Assembly Hall. The one thing that I do not like about the way the media setup is at Assembly Hall, if you have to sit up there, which I always do, is if you're in that front row, the people stand the entire, and you cannot see the game. So I have to go up to the 4th row so I can see the game. That's my only complaint. And you can't change it now.
That's you're in a small group there because there are 2 corner sections where guys sit as well. I'm in one of those corners, and the other is a little 2-level deal with 6, and the other one's 8. And it's right. The students are right behind you and right in front of you. Can't get out. You've got to go up. And if you're in the 8th seat, so no, it's not. Yeah, there it is.
Listen,
but what's up next for you, brother?
Oh man, coming out with the Purdue volleyball spring preview. We got the Purdue.
Oh wow, can't wait for that.
We've got the Purdue Michigan State basketball game tonight. The Purdue women are at Northwestern trying to get a spot in the Big Ten tournament. So there's a lot going on here in West Lafayette right now. I know everybody's main focus is men's basketball, but we're working it at all angles. The football team has announced the spring game, or the spring showcase, I should say. So there's a lot happening.
What are they going to show?
They are going to show drills. They are going to show a little bit of a scrimmage, but they do not do a full-on spring game.
Sounds riveting. But tonight, Michigan, number 13, Michigan State at number 8, Purdue, 8 o'clock on the cock. Peacock.
I'm going to have to start saying that.
There you go. You got a little you got a little worried there, didn't you?
I got a little. Well, it's not my radio show, so I'm not gonna have to be paying any fines. So I'm
Dustin Schutte from Boilers on SI. Appreciate you, brother.
Take care. See you again next week.
Hey, up next, the great one, Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, live from the NFL Combine. Right after we take a quick pause for the cause.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NicoSports.com. That's NicoSports.com.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Mall Road.
Just letting you know.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
Hey, where'd you get that za from yet?
Thursday. Glad to have you along. Glad to be with you. Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, now joining us live from the Combine.
Yeah.
Like New York style.
Matthew,
I saw
I'm not sure if you can hear me. He may not realize that he's on with us just yet. So I'm going to go ahead and mute him until I hear him talking. Of course, then he can't talk. So, Matt, just let me know you're ready to go. Of course, I know he's there on Radio Row at the Combine right now. So, Matt, how are you doing? Great. Good to hear it. Good. I'm kidding, people. He's not talking and you can't hear him. He's not realizing that we're on just yet, I think. Matt, if you're there, I'm ready. But I'm about to send him a text. Say, hey, bro, we're on. Ready to go. Just lost him. See if he jumps back in with us. I know that everything gets hectic when you're live. I mean, it gets hectic when we're live, much less on the road and live. A big room full of people up there, and here he is. There's the man, Matt Taylor, joining us live from the combine. Matthew, you're going to have to unmute your mic. You have it muted.
There we go.
There you go. How are you, sir? Looking beautiful as always.
Aha, good to see you. Good to be with you, Jim. How we doing? Good to see you the other day.
You as well. I'll be seeing you again as soon as I get back up to the combine. A lot going on. I know there was a lot of Indiana guys that spoke today earlier already. D'Angelo Pons and Lewis Moore and those guys. So we'll hear from them. But what is when these guys are all speaking? It seems more reporters are talking to these guys, but are the teams, do they look at this at all, or they just wait for their own team interviews?
Yeah, it's part of the equation. It's part of the process. It's I think piece of the puzzle, if you will, in terms of how these guys are evaluated. I think GMs and personnel staff, they want to just see how kids handle themselves in the media. Are they well spoken? Do they say the right thing? Are they, do they show humility? Do they show good character? Can they interpret what they're being asked and answer it intelligently with grace? I think all of that matters. I mean, is it the end all be all? Of course not. But I think it does matter. And I think when you it's like we talked about. It's such a huge investment for teams to be able to. They got to hit at the top of the draft, right? Those first and second round picks. Those guys have to be immediate starters, and they got to pay big dividends early on to the health and the success and viability of a team. And so when you're weighing those decisions, you look at everything, and that's part of it when they talk to the media and how they handle themselves.
Yeah, Matt. ROI, I think, is something people just don't really think about, but this is an investment by these guys, and it's like a business. Any corporation that is making a major multi-million-dollar purchase, because that's what all of these are. They're major multi-million-dollar purchases, but not only that, if it doesn't work, not only are they out the money, but you didn't get accomplished what you needed accomplished, which obviously will affect your franchise.
Yeah, and you're probably out of a job, right? I mean, that's just it. I mean, the draft is the lifeblood of the NFL. You can't rely on free agency every year to just patch it up because free agents, for the most parts, are they're either too old, not productive anymore, or they're making too much money, right? We always say free agents are free agents for a reason. They are on the open market because for whatever reason, another team does not feel inclined to re-sign them, right? So I'm not saying you don't need free agents because you have to supplement your roster every year to year, right? You have to build within every resource and every avenue that's available to you. But the lifeblood of the NFL is the draft. That's where you get those homegrown premium players that play those premium positions. And you don't ever see those guys hit the open market. You don't see the top receivers hit the open market. You don't see the top left tackles ever hit free agency. You don't ever see the top pass rushers hit free agency because they were drafted by their teams and re-signed and developed into great players.
Yeah, and of another thing I talked about earlier, while we pretty much are expecting Fernando Mendoza to be Indiana's first number one pick, he will be the only quarterback taken for quite a while until they get to Ty Simpson, I think. But that's because it doesn't really have any bearing on Ty Simpson other than he's just not this, sure hit kind of thinking wonder thing, but it's the needs of the teams and what is most coveted. And it seems to me, it used to be offensive linemen, but now it seems like these edge rushers are becoming the kind of prime piece to get.
Yeah, and I think it's a good year to need defensive impact, defensive tackle, and defensive ends, primarily those pass rushers. Daniel Jeremiah, who we talked to yesterday, we had him on our show. He's locked into this draft. He's the lead NFL draft analyst for NFL Network. He said this is a great year. Out of his top 100 prospects across the board, he's got 16 defensive ends. And so the Colts are certainly looking for that. But I think, to be fair, Every team's looking for that. Every team needs, pass rushers that are fresh, that can hit the offense in waves, be situational, things like that. So it's kind of like baseball and the bullpen. Everybody needs bullpen help. There's just not a lot of it, right? Everybody needs it. There's just not a lot of shutdown, seventh and eighth inning setup guys that can bridge the gap to the closer. So you can never have enough pass rushers, but the Colts, I think, in a year where they don't have a first round pick, I think we talked about this last week, in a year where they don't have a number one because they gave that up to Sauce Gardner in each of the next 2 years without having a first round pick, they're going to have to supplement that probably primarily in free agency, but then also too in the draft as well, either with their second round pick or their third round pick. You've seen the last 2 Super Bowl winners, the Eagles a couple years ago and then the Seahawks. That's what they had. They had a good mixture of veteran difference makers, but also young up and coming guys that can hit you situationally, that are development guys that'll hopefully, eventually kind of take on that mantle that just aren't there yet. But I think that's what the Colts are striving for in terms of how they allocate their free agency dollars and where they target, their high end draft picks in round 2 and round 3 this year.
What is your thought? I know that so much is going to happen before that pick comes about, but any idea what the Colts are thinking as far as need and where they would like to go with that pick?
Yeah, I think need-wise, it's probably defensive end. I mean, you look at how the roster is built, how it's constructed right now. They've got some really good top-end talent starting-wise, basically at every position except for defensive end. Because as of right now, as you and I sit here and talk at the moment, the only 2 defensive ends that are currently under contract are Latu, who's going into year number 3, and JT Tuimoloau, who's going into year number 2. And Latu's still developing. There's still a lot of meat on that bone, if you will. He got 8.5 sacks last year, but I think everybody agrees that there's room for growth, and there's more growth for him to make when it comes to just making more timely plays and getting to the quarterback more efficiently. And then Tuimoloau was blocked last year in terms of personnel. He had 3 guys in front of him that are all free agents: Kwity Paye, Samson Ebukam, and Tyquan Lewis. And it's pretty unlikely that the Colts bring all of those guys back. Maybe none of them come back. That's why I think you're going to have to see the Colts, I think, from a viability standpoint, address that primarily in free agency. Because if you're banking on drafting a defensive end in round 2 or a defensive end in round 3, or address that position twice with those picks, you're banking on that to take your defense over the top next year with, basically 3 rookies when you factor in Tuimoloau's lack of experience. I don't know if that's the best laid plan for the Colts next year when they have to have more consistency from that position within the Lou Anarumo defense to take it over the top and hopefully make the playoffs.
Is Daniel Jones someone with coming off of the injury that the Colts would need to tag with the franchise tag?
Yeah, potentially. That's a big storyline. They have until next Tuesday. So the tag window is up March 3rd at 4 o'clock Eastern time. That's when teams have to make those determinations on the franchise tag. And as of right now, the Colts have, you could argue that the top 2 free agents in the NFL. They certainly have the top quarterback in Daniel Jones, and they certainly have the top wide receiver in Alec Pierce, in the sense that if those 2 guys did not receive the franchise tag or didn't sign contract extensions before the franchise tag window is up, they would be highly coveted by other teams, especially Alec Pierce. I just mentioned the stereotypes on free agents. They're either too old, not productive, or making too much money. Pierce, none of those things apply to Alec Pierce. He is hitting a sweet spot when it comes to free agency. So if you let him out the door, you might not ever see him again in terms of a contract with the Colts in his future. So yeah, they have. I think ideally they want to get both of those guys re-signed, avoid the tag, and that's what Chris Ballard talked about earlier this week. Talks are really they're going well. There's 3 sides to this whole deal. You've got the Colts side of things, Daniel Jones and his representation, and Alec Pierce and his representation. And the way Chris Ballard put it the other day is things are on the up and up. They are trending in the right direction, and all 3 sides are motivated to get something done. So we'll see. But that would be the ideal scenario for the Colts, is to avoid using that franchise tag altogether, get Jones and Pierce under contract from an extension standpoint, not have to mess with anybody else in terms of their existing contracts. Like, it's been bantered about Zaire Franklin or Michael Pittman Jr. Leave those guys alone. I just got the sense that, when Chris and Shane talked the other day, they use the present tense, and still being very interested in Jones and Pierce. Michael Pittman Jr. in the present tense, so they want him back. Great news on Anthony Richardson with his eye and his return to football activities. So that was talked about in the present tense. So there was a lot of positivity in the offseason on those storylines you wanted to have more progression on. We got that this week, and everything from an arrow standpoint pointing up.
Anything that has stood out so far at the draft? I know that still really right in the middle of it, Matt, with workouts going. Hey, how'd your 40-yard dash time go?
If I can get sub 5, man, sign me up for that. Doesn't matter what it is. If there's a 4 in front of that number, which I don't know at this point if that would happen, but yeah, the workouts.
Dude, I used to run a sub 5, and I'm like, I don't know if I can run a sub 45 right now.
Yeah, the workouts haven't started yet. You're going to get those later on tonight. So as we speak right now, you've got the defensive backs talking across the curtain on the other side of the camera here. So I just had, I just sat in a little bit on the scrum with D'Angelo Pons, and what a sharp guy that is. Incredibly well-spoken, represents himself in the University of, Indiana University. I want to make sure I got that right. He does.
Oh my God!
Did a great job there. So,
How about him though? So you've seen so many players, Matt, and so many of these players that have to exceed their physical limitations. D'Angelo Pons is one of those. I don't know what he actually measured, 5'9", whatever, because the NFL always places so much emphasis on a lot of these things, these measurements, these speeds, and all of that. But D'Angelo Pons is one of those guys that you have to use the eye test on, that you have to watch play, because the dude is Velcro, and for a smaller dude, he packs a punch.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's always exceptions to the rule. When the combine is meant as, it's a big database system. Like, there is just generations and decades of material and data on what a player, what he runs, how much he weighs, how tall he is, what his wingspan is. They just plug this into the database and they say, okay, out of 40 years of the NFL Combine, there has been X amount of players with your profile from a height, weight, and speed standpoint, and here's the success rate at your position. But there are exceptions to every rule. I think Kenny Moore is a great exception, right? We've talked about this in the past. He's not the tallest guy or the fastest guy, but what he is, he's got great wingspan and he's got great just mental makeup, great character. And I think D'Angelo Pons makes up for any sort of physical limitation by just being great instinctually and just having a lot of intangibles that you either have those or you don't. And that's you find those things out in those meetings here at the Combine when you get to know guys in terms of their character and how much they love football and how passionate they are at being a great pro.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to seeing, and I know he's going to have to go through the drills and all of that, and he's a guy.
And also too, when you watch his tape, what else more do you want to see? Right,
Exactly.
the tape is the end all be all. So he's got that going for him too.
I mean, hell, he could just use the Miami game because he made so many good plays in that game, specifically just knocking their tight end into the first 3 rows on that one particular play. I was just shocked by the punch that he brought. I'm like, damn. But that shows a lot. That shows strength. That shows he's in shape. That shows he's grit. But yeah, then you've got guys like Kalon Black. Did not get invited to the Combine, who I think that was a mistake. But there are several others, I'm sure, as well, that fall into that category. But what can a guy like that do to increase his chances of being taken?
Yeah, I mean, he's got great tape. And then I think, not being invited to the Combine, there's guys every year that get, shorted in that regard that go on to be drafted. I mean, that's the thing. There's only 260 some draft picks, and there's over 300 guys here. So not everybody here is going to get drafted. So there's going to be players that go on to have great pro days that get drafted. And there's guys here at the combine that don't, for whatever reason, interview well or work out well that won't be drafted, that'll wind up being, undrafted free agents. So, listen, there's no perfect formula to this. And, there's guys that get slighted to not being invited to the Senior Bowl that end up going to the combine and vice versa. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you got humans evaluating humans. So there's going to be human error involved in all of this. And so there's no perfect science to it. But, I get why guys get upset on not being invited to the combine, because it's just a great chance for them to showcase who they are, what they can be, and it's the longest and most grueling job interview anybody can have.
Yeah, next week we'll be talking about who was the big surprise and who was the big failure, or I don't want to say failure, but you know what I'm saying.
Sure.
Last thing, Omar Cooper. I think he might be a surprise higher pick than a lot of people think, because that dude has got intangibles, man. He is just good at a lot of things besides being a wide receiver. He has a great body already, and strength, and just a great awareness, a great football acumen. I think he could be a surprise higher pick than some people think.
It's funny you say that, because all the draft people that we've talked to mention him. They go out of their way when they talk about wide receivers to bring him up. And again, turn on the tape. What more do you want to see? The athleticism, the balance, the smarts to be, it's one thing to run around against zone coverage and just go where the play is designed, but you got to interpret things. You have to have a feel for how teams are playing you. And Omar Cooper showed that in spades for me last year playing for IU.
How's it been for you there? Before I let you go, what are you guys been doing?
We've just been collecting a ton of content here. So a lot of analysts, a lot of media folks, a lot of folks that cover the draft. We were just collecting a ton of stuff, and we're going to sort of disseminate that slowly but surely within the next couple of weeks and months leading up to the draft. A lot of stuff on free agency. So that'll be going out on our radio shows and our podcast throughout the next couple of weeks as we sort of make a plan of what we got and play the hits and, put out the best stuff.
I call you, as you are, the voice of the Colts, but what is your official title? Because you do all this communication stuff. You're like assistant vice president of communications, or what's the fancy title, man?
Yeah, I wish I had more of a fancy title, but that's it. Jack of all trades, voice of the Colts, and then Mr. Do Everything, I guess is the appropriate way to do it. The more you can do, the more value you have, I guess, Jim. You know the drill.
Absolutely, buddy. Well, I'm gonna make up my own title for you.
Make one up for me too while you're at it.
No, I'm gonna make up one for you. That's what I'm talking about. Well, brother, I appreciate you. I'll see you up there, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I appreciate you as always.
Likewise, man. Have a great one. We'll see you soon.
You bet. Matt Taylor, the voice of the Colts, joining us live from the NFL Combine. We've got more coming up. When we come back, we'll hear from D'Angelo Pons. He spoke earlier at the Combine today. We've got that and more coming up. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio with Jim Coyle. I'm back with more right after these messages.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISP Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Ball Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Hope you're doing well. You had to get the daggone snow shovel back out today. Gee whiz. That was, I guess I wasn't paying attention, but I was not expecting to see that view this morning. Hey, D'Angelo Pons, one of the Indiana players, speaking at the NFL Combine earlier today. Lewis Moore, I'm trying to think who else. I'll have to pull that up. But here is D'Angelo. We were just talking about him with Matt Taylor.
With Coach Sig from JMU to IU, you guys won the championship together. Now you're embarking on the NFL. What's this ride been like for you?
Yeah, to put it simply, it's been crazy for me. It's like you said, coming from JMU to Indiana, and winning the national championship, doing something that nobody expected us to do. It's been crazy. It's just a blessing just to even be here. Obviously, the national championship was a couple weeks ago, so a quick turnaround for me, but I'm just happy to be here. Yeah, just learning fast. Obviously, 40 is the main event here, so just learning fast and things like that, and trying to grasp things fast. But other than that, it's been good. I've been taking advantage of my opportunities. Yeah, first play I would say is the Oregon play, the first play of the game. I feel like a lot of coaches played that in the meetings. Every coach really started their meeting off with that play, so I would say that was one of them. Just to show. Showed them my football IQ, how I watch film and study quarterbacks and knowing quick game, knowing the ball had to come out fast and things like that. And that's basically how I broke that play down to him. Another play I would say is in the playoffs against Alabama, against Ty Simpson, just showing off my physicality, being that guy, seeing me as a smaller guy, but showing him not to be physical too. Nah, because I've been playing football since I was 4 years old, so it's kind of something that's been instilled in me since I was younger. It kind of comes natural. It's just the way I play, and it's always how I've been my whole life. Yeah, organized. Coming from South Florida, I feel like guys start early. At 4 years old, it's like Super Pee Wee is before that. So it's a lot of guys like me that started early. I'm not just the only guy that started at 4 years old.
What was it like? What's your plan on did you want to touch it or did you wait until?
No, I'll be waiting to run my 40 at Pro Day. But I'll be doing everything else, the DB drills and things like that. But I'll just do the DB drills and the vertical jump.
That's D'Angelo Pons, part of his time up on the dais today at the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Notice there, he said he's going to run his 40 at Indiana's Pro Day, which
I guess a more comfortable surrounding. For the 40-yard dash, I wonder why you wouldn't run there. I mean, anytime you could do something at your own place, you're more comfortable. I get that. But the 40-yard dash is pretty straightforward. You line up, you hear go, you go, and you get clocked. So but nowadays they're agents. Oh yeah, don't do this. Yeah, we'll do that later. Or everything is guided for so many different reasons. But a lot going on, a lot to be excited about, a lot happening. And the fact that this is all going on in Indianapolis is always an incredible thing. Very fortunate, again, as Indianapolis continues to lead the way as the greatest sports city in America. Hopefully they don't lose that. The NFL draft heading to Pittsburgh this year. They can move the draft all around. They need to keep the combine where it is, I think. But they don't care about what I think, unfortunately. Pecan says that more and more NIL and rev share should go to SIG. Basketball is a poor investment. Man, they get 70% of it. So they're their own machine. I don't think that there's a difference there, really. The efforts for basketball are basketball. The efforts for football now are football. You have more people willing now. So there's that. But if you do that, Pecan, now you're driving a program into the ground. If they had done that with IU football 2 years ago, instead of what they did, you'd still be watching 3-9 football. Yeah, they have screwed it up for a long time. I can't believe for how long. But it will get fixed at some point. It will get fixed at some point. Indiana's fortunate to have a president that is not only very involved, but very sports oriented, knows the importance of these major sports to the universities. Look what it's done. Look what Indiana football has done for Indiana. Do you have any idea the millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of free advertising Indiana received over the last, not just last season, it started the season before that, but they, it's the impact for Bloomington, the economic impact for selling out Memorial Stadium, however many times they've done it in the last 2 years. Yeah, think about that. That didn't happen. So, yeah, we'll see. Got a lot going on. People talking about the NBA draft, trying to get Braylon Mullins. You're not. The Pacers don't have that many picks, I don't believe, do they? Other than, and he's not going to be a first-round pick. Not an upper level first-round pick by any means. Hey, man, it's been so much fun. Thank you. Thank everybody. Thanks to Matt Taylor, of course, our good friend, the voice of the Colts, joining us from the NFL Combine in Indianapolis. Thanks to Coach Griff, as always, and our good friend Dustin Schutte from Boilers on SI. We're back tomorrow to do it again. I think Bill Bender is with us, Alec Lasley, Zach Osterman. So, plenty to talk about with the ongoing combine and Indiana's next home basketball game coming up. Go out, have yourselves a great day. Enjoy it. Shovel the snow first. I'm Jim Coyle. Until tomorrow, I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.